26 kids of all of us, and it took a lot of biscuits to go around too. And we'd kill 3 and 4 and 5 hogs, and still wouldn't have enough meat, you know. And we'd kill a beef. We had good eats back then, but it was hard times, you know. But you could have plenty to eat, but you didn't have too good of clothes to wear. After he found out that I wanted to play bluegrass music, he just let me go, and we called it back then old-timey music, you know. My daddy, he is a church member, and he played the fiddle. He played old church songs, and I always wanted to play, and I'd slip his fiddle out while he was going to church. And he come in one day and he caught me playing, and he said, well, I'm going to see right now that you're going to learn to play the fiddle. And he said, just don't scratch my fiddle up and bust it. This is an old song, Stay All Night and Stay a Little Longer. I always liked that old song. The people always liked it. When they went to square dance, they'd call on it for me to play it. I bought this fiddle, I guess I've had it about 22 years, this fiddle. It was an old man, he had it, and he died out, and his wife wanted to sell it, and then I bought it. I give her $50 for the fiddle, and I've been offered $100 for it, and I said no. I said, I'll just keep it for keepsake, and maybe some brothers and sisters' children want it. Well, I've been to Gatlinburg, and I've been to Maryville, and I've been up east, and I've been to Kokomo, Indiana with it. I've been just about everywhere in Tennessee, and one time out in Indiana.
Bluegrass to me means friends, friendship, a good time, getting with people I like, and playing music, playing my guitar, listening to other people playing their guitar, learning new songs. You meet new people each time, you go to different festivals, and but mostly it's the comradeship that goes along with it. I've met some of the nicest people in the world at bluegrass music.
It does involve, usually, to me anyway, bluegrass involves a banjo, mandolin, fiddle, guitar, and a bass, stand-up bass. If you get into electric, you're getting, to my opinion, away from bluegrass. But to me, the main point is you can go anywhere and play it. Find people that play the same songs you do.
It's more or less a way of life, but then again, it's also a physical feeling. It's a feeling for sure.
You know, I got to thinking about the music that America gave to the world, and it was bluegrass and jazz, and so I kind of just like bluegrass because it's natural. You know, it's just your feelings, and you know, it's the natural person. I know that they have good music in other fields, but yet if you ever get hooked on bluegrass, it's worse than the other grass they say is going around.
People argue what came first, bluegrass or the country, or the chicken or the egg. It's all lovely music. It's music that tells a story of people, their sorrow, their happy, their joy, their hardships, and just getting together and blending instruments together and laughing, having a few drinks, and camping overnight at these different festivals we go to. And it's really hard to explain.
It's like when you hear it, it's a physical feeling. It's not something that comes up here. It's something that you tap your feet to. When you hear it, your body goes for it. It's hard to explain, but it is definitely a feeling.
Dave and I have been known to stand 8 to 9 hours and never move. I can get a natural high on music because I love it, and you know, it's an escape. I work hard and my job really rough, so this year's a way I can just get away from all the troubles and, you know, and just get into another world.
What I like about it is that you can dance to it really easily. I mean, bluegrass, when I hear bluegrass, I think, all right, let's dance.
The groups are made up of 5 basic instruments. You have the bass fiddle, the violin or the fiddle, the mandolin, the banjo, and the guitar. And on occasion you'll see a dobro guitar in there, but and it makes it sound good, I think. Although I've seen people try to add other instruments, but people seem to say, you know, shine away from that. They say that's not bluegrass music. It's no longer a bluegrass band. You put in an electric bass. Well, electric bass isn't too bad, but they put in electric guitars and electric fiddles, and they get away from the meaning of bluegrass music.
I like to mix it up, so, you know, I'm versatile. I like up-to-date, go back and get the old stuff. You know, I hate to see a group get on one thing. It's like a knot on the tar, you know. But I like to see a group that can do right up-to-date with the most modern bluegrass song, or either go back and do one from 50 or 60 years ago. So, you know, to me, that's really a true group bluegrass band, because they can reach back and, you know, and let people know what it sounded like back then instead of, you know, just having one thing. So I say I'm just open for that, you know.
She don't hug and kiss me like she did one time. I think my sweet baby's got leaving on her mind. The longer I hold her, the more I can tell my darling's not happy with me. The longer I know that I know her too well, the less love in her I see. For she don't hold and kiss me like she did one time. I think my sweet baby's got leaving on her mind. The stronger I hold her, the farther apart my darling is going from me. The danger of my darling breaking my heart is fast moving in on me. For she don't hug and kiss me like she did one time. I think my sweet baby's got leaving on her mind. She don't hold and kiss me like she did one time. I think my sweet baby's got leaving on her mind. I think my sweet baby's got leaving on her mind.
A lot of people have got in their head what bluegrass sounds like, but you know, through the years it's changed a lot, and added drums and guitar and different types of instruments, so it's really hard to say what it really is, you know. They just enjoy it, so we play it.
I think any kind of music can be bluegrass music. I think it's all based upon the instrumentation, and because so many groups are doing country songs, rock songs, folk songs, as bluegrass music, so I think it all depends upon the instrumentation itself.
Most people would think if it has a banjo in it, it's bluegrass. You know, even a rock song, you can hear a banjo in it, and they'll say, hey, that's bluegrass.
I was listening to the Beatles in high school. I was brought up in the North, so that might have something to do with that. I'm new to bluegrass. I've been playing for a couple of months now.
I was brought up in bluegrass and country music. That's about the only type of music I've known since I've been able to play.
Sort of one of the second generation bluegrass people. He got to start with the Bluegrass Boys and played guitar with that band until he started his own band in the early 50s. And the thing I like about Jimmy Martin is his sound that he gets, his solid rhythm, and the way he pays attention to the other people in his band to get a really distinctive sound in his band, plus his fine singing voice. He comes up with some good songs, and he presents them in a style that's really exciting, dynamic. Jimmy, of course, is still performing now as one of the best performers in bluegrass, and you can tell by his fine records, and if you've ever seen him on stage, he puts on quite a show.
When I was a real small kid, I used to work on the farm there. My dad passed away when I was around 4 years old, and of course my mother married again, my stepfather, he kindly sang around in churches and funerals at home, and I learned to sing in quartets, which I learned to sing harmony parts like baritone, tenor, lead, bass singing along, and I always loved bluegrass music and country music, but my real love was for bluegrass music, and I'd listen at a lot of the radio stations around home there, such as Knoxville, Tennessee, WNOX, Midday Merry-Go-Round. Then I'd take and listen to a little program called Kaz Walker's Farm and Home Hour. And he had some musicians there that sung a lot of quartets, and they played mandolin, guitar, such as the Bailey Brothers, and played fiddle and bass fiddle. I'd listen to them on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday. I'd go out and work on a farm, and I'd come home about 11 o'clock. Then I'd listen at the radio station for an hour or two and eat dinner and go back out on the farm, plowing corn and digging ditches and all that. I said, well, I'd like to be an entertainer and sing on the radio. Used to listen in to the Grand Ole Opry, and they used to say, here is Sam and Kurt McGee, the boys from sunny Tennessee. So I named my boys on the sunny side of the mountain, like my song that I've got recorded and got in the top 10 for me, called On the Sunny Side of the Mountain. So I just picked the name Sunny Mountain Boys from my group.
I was born the restless sky. You made it rough, let's keep it that way. You're gonna find you were wrong when your loving daddy's gone. Baby, you don't know I'm fine today.
A bluegrass singer likes to sing from the heart. He likes a good story to sing from. There's no certain thing that's called a bluegrass song. There's lots of songs that a lot of the bluegrass people that don't figure that it would be a bluegrass song, but me. Anything that the country music singers is Hank Williams and George Jones and Roy Acuff, all of those kind of Ernest Tubb, all those songs, I can make it into a bluegrass song.
I'm lonesome all the time. I travel fast on this tough road, you see. I'm not here to judge or plead, but to give my little heart in. Baby, you don't know I'm fine today.
There's been times when I thought me and the old guitar would just have to separate and just quit music, but I said, well, I don't want to do this. And we went to little clubs, what they call, now they call them clubs, but these little bar rooms where we'd set the microphone down and amongst the people that was drinking beer. We'd play for $5 a night, start from about 9 o'clock till 2. Then they'd give us all the beer we drank, or some of the people liked to hear us sing so much, they'd buy our beer, it wouldn't cost us nothing. So I said, there must be a better way. This is when we used to be up in Detroit, Michigan, and places like that. And finally, I got a break with Decca Records, who gave me a break. Then Tillman Franks down at the Louisiana Hayride in Shreveport, Louisiana, asked me to come down there and join it. So I went down there, and they told me that bluegrass music would not go over at the Louisiana Hayride, that banjos and fiddles
and guitars and mandolins were just out because Elvis Presley had just left there, and all you need to have is electric guitar. You need to come to the Louisiana Hayride with bluegrass music.
When you're loving little daddy's gone, baby, you just don't know my mind today. You're gonna find you were wrong when you're loving little daddy's gone. Baby, you don't know my mind today. No, Lord. Hey, don't overdo a good thing, thank you.
But they've always liked the way I did Milwaukee, Here I Come. So if you don't mind, I'll do a little bit of it. I might make a mistake because I can't play as good as Doc Watson. I have listened to Maybelle Carter pick a little bit of the Wildwood Flower. I've always liked that. One of these days I hope to record it.
I've been a kind of a fan of bluegrass for 20 years or so, and I think one of the major influences in my kind of appreciation of the music has been the Stanley Brothers, and particularly the crisp, bright sound that Ralph gets out of his banjo. And I think that, along with his singing, I try to sing tenor, and if I could get as high as he does and have the kind of the voice that can identify with that music the way he does, I'd be happy.
We were raised on a small mountain farm in the state of Virginia back in the Appalachian Mountains, and like a lot of the other people, we were raised poor, and we had to walk at least 2 miles each way to get our education for several years. And we become interested in music. Our mother had 12, or see, she had 11 brothers and sisters. There were 12 in the family. Of course, every one of them played the 5-string banjo. But they played it the old clawhammer style, like I still feature now and then. And we decided to get her father and mother to buy us an instrument. Carter, he was interested in the guitar, and I was interested in the banjo. So we had a little grocery store at our home there, and I know Carter got his guitar from a mail order house, one of the catalogs, I don't remember which, but anyway, my aunt had this banjo, the first banjo I had, and we traded something like a bag of flour and some groceries from the store, you know, for this banjo. $5 worth is what I paid for the first one. And we started trying to play, and we were bashful, especially me. I was real bashful, but anyway, a lot of the neighbors, they would come in to listen to us. And we were so bashful that we didn't want to play before them, so we would go in a place like the kitchen and let the neighbors sit in the living room, and they could hear us, but they couldn't see us. We were that bashful, you know, we didn't want to let the people see us play. But anyway, we soon grew out of that, and in our school days in high school, why, they would have like a junior or a senior play, and they would have to set up the stage for certain scenes, and between the acts, well, they wanted to have a little something to keep the people satisfied, the audience satisfied, and we would stand in front of the curtains and play music and sing. The White Dove, that was the first song that the Stanley Brothers ever wrote, about 1947. And back in the hills of Virginia, where we were born and raised, that the White Dove fits that song exactly. It's about a boy that maybe left home and left his father and mother and roamed around for a long time, but he had fond memories of what his childhood was like, and he's longing to go back to relive it.
White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their head. I'll live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. We were all so happy there together in our peaceful little mountain home. But the Savior needs angels up in heaven. Now they sang around His great white throne. White dove will mourn in sorrow, the willows will hang their head. I'll live my life in sorrow, since mother and daddy are dead. As the years roll by, I often wonder, will we all be together someday? And at night, as I wander to the graveyard, darkness finds me where I kneel to pray. Why
a Christian home. Our father and mother both belonged to the church. They belonged to the Old Baptist. And of course they taught us from the start to learn to sing gospel songs, hymns, that we have done all through the years. I remember when we used to go to church, back when just little boys. I'm speaking now of the Stanley Brothers. I still like to mention the Stanley Brothers, although Carter, you know, passed away in 1966. I still like to mention the Stanley Brothers because he done a great job and was responsible for a lot of the things I'm enjoying now in this music. And we would go to church and we do some of our hymns without music. And that's where we learned to do it, in the Old Baptist churches, where the preacher would get up and line the songs, and then all the congregation would sing along with them. The reason they did that, maybe they had one or two song books, and the people that were doing the singing didn't know the songs, so the preacher had to line them so they could all join in and sing the hymns. And that's where we got a lot of our religious singing. You have to take the good with the bad. We had a lot of hard days, and I've heard a lot of musicians talk now that if I had to go through what you did, I wouldn't be around. Well, I'm thankful to say, you know, that I played a part when the picking was bad. Many of the time we went out and played, and we had to play our show to get the money to get our gas to come back home on and eat supper.
Nobody loves like mine, no one so faithful and kind. Love that is true as the ocean, nobody loves like mine. Well, they tell me that you found another, and now you'll be going far away. Why haven't you left me, little darling? I love you both night and day. Nobody loves like mine, no one so faithful and kind. Love that is true as the ocean, nobody loves it like mine. Well, I guess now just going dreaming and wondering why it couldn't be. Someday, little darling, you'll be sorry for the way you treat me. Nobody loves like mine, no one so faithful and kind. Love that is true as the ocean, nobody loves it like mine. Well, they tell me that you found another, and now you'll be going far away. Why haven't you left me, little darling? I love you both night and day. Nobody loves like mine, no one so faithful and kind. Love ain't true as the ocean is blue. Nobody loves it like
I guess one of the most popular bands ever was Lester Flatt and Scruggs and the Foggy Mountain Boys.
I remember back 20 years ago, all my friends were listening to rock and roll, and I always tuned in the old country station, and first time I heard this really fantastic fast picking, well, I couldn't believe it, and it was Flatt and Scruggs.
I think that's really typical, that Flatt and Scruggs have probably introduced that style of music to more people in the country than just about any other group.
Like the Beverly Hillbillies. A lot of people that have never even heard of bluegrass don't even know what it's about. And all of a sudden they watch the Beverly Hillbillies, Flatt and Scruggs, tell them, come on down, come on down. And it just, yeah, it introduced it. A lot of people.
Yeah, I really wasn't too interested in bluegrass until I got turned on the Beverly Hillbillies. I didn't think it was really legitimate, but all of a sudden there it was on national television. And, you know, it made sense to me and started getting into it after that.
Well, of course, Lester sang the theme song, The Ballad of Jed Clampett, from that film, and their band always was really smooth because they had the backing, Martha White Flower Company, and working with TV, they have the money to keep one band going for a long time, and their sound really got solidified that way.
It was really a shame that years back they both split up and Earl Scruggs went his own way, but Lester Flatt stayed with bluegrass.
There was 9 of us in family, and we had a pretty good singing choir, you might say, at home, you know. And we would always gang around of a night and do a little singing before we went to bed. And we just more or less growed up in a musical family, you know. My dad and I had a sister that was a very good banjo picker, the drop thumb style, and that kind of made me mad because I couldn't pick that style, and that's why I quit. And I thought, well, I'll try the fiddle. And I made so much racket I couldn't stand that, so I had to give that up. And I was about 7 or 8 years old when I started singing. I was in several singing contests that we used to have in the country, what we called all-day singing and dinner on the ground, you know. And of course, I guess the dinner on the ground got me to go about as much as the singing did, but anyway, I was always in on it. And I won quite a few of those, you know. My daddy played the old-time fiddle and 5-string banjo. He played what they call the drop thumb. They have several different names for that. I call it the Grandpa Jones style anyway. But that's what I wanted to do, and I started out trying to do that, and they picked a 2-fingered style. I got to where I could do that real good. I thought it was good anyway, but maybe it wasn't. But anyway, I never could get that drop thumb style to work. My thumb to work like, I'd sit and watch my dad for 30 minutes at a time, and that thumb was just working like I always said, like a chicken picking up corn. But my thumb wouldn't work like that, so I kind of gave it up and picked up the old guitar and went from there, and I've stuck to it ever since. Well, I wonder how the old folks are doing. I wonder if they'll miss me when I'm gone. I wonder if they'll pray for the boy who went away and left his dear old parents all alone. You could hear the cattle lowing in the lane. You can almost see the fields of bluegrass green. You can almost hear them cry as they kiss their boy goodbye. Well, I wonder how the old folks are doing. Just a village and a homestead on the farm, and a mother's love to shield you from all harm. A sweetheart brave and true, a place we love so dear. Just a village and a homestead on the farm. You can hear the cattle lowing in the lane. You can almost see the fields of bluegrass green. You can almost hear them cry as they kiss their boy goodbye. Well, I wonder how the old folks are. We went without a banjo picker for a long time, and I was really enjoying the picking without it because, you know, it wasn't nothing holding us back. We was doing what we wanted to do. And Bill come to me at the Opry one night, and he said, there's a fellow here wants to try out for the banjo picking. A fellow by the name of Earl Scruggs. I said, well, as far as I'm concerned, he can leave it in the case. But I changed my mind after I herding pig. Earl Scruggs and myself started playing a few colleges across the states, and it was a kind of a surprise, actually to us, you know, because we hadn't heard of any, well, we was called country bands or hillbilly bands back then, you know, before the bluegrass was mentioned, actually. But we found out that the college kids love it. Now, if there's 20 verses to a song, a college kid wants to hear every verse of it. And they're our best audiences today. We just love to work them. And we do quite a bit. I have worked as many as 60 colleges a year.
This is one that we still have to do wherever we go. It's been real good to us down through the years. Wound up being the theme song of the Bonnie and Clyde movie. It's called the Foggy Mountain Breakdown.
Worked Carnegie Hall, and of course the critics up there, they had a lot of write-ups that the Hicks from the Sticks was coming to town, said they wanted to give them a chance to get out of town, but there was a hall full that didn't get out, you know. We had them standing all over the place, and we did a live album there for Columbia Records. I didn't think anybody up there had ever heard about Martha White. We've been with Martha White for about 23 years, but we got into this album, and all over the auditorium they was hollering, Martha White, Martha White. Well, I thought we'd better go ahead and do it because the old saying they was running their album, you know. But I didn't think about Columbia letting the song go in the album because they won't hardly let a commercial song go, but they did. They let it go in the album. And about a month or so after the album was released, we made a tour over in Japan and China. We opened our show in Tokyo. And I believe the funniest sound I ever heard in my life when he's on the stage and those Japanese people hollering, "Oh, more what? Oh, more what?"
Did somebody say Martha White? Let's see if we can. Now you big blind, Martha White. Yes, man. Goodness gracious, good line, Martha White. Oh, the finest biscuits ever was. Get Martha White, say fries and flour. The one all purpose flour. Martha White, say fries and flour. Hot fries and flour.
It certainly helped us, you know. Because we was about the only ones here at the Grand Ole Opry that had a full-time sponsor like that.
For the finest biscuits ever was, get Martha White fries and flour, one all-purpose flour, Martha White fries and flour with hot fries plus.
A lot of people would talk, like up in the New England states, they'd talk about the new sound of Flatt and Scruggs, something we'd been playing for 20 years, you know. But it'd been mostly limited to the South, you know, and they hadn't had a chance to hear it. About the highlight, I guess, was working with the Beverly Hillbillies, you know. They, I think they did more for our show and for our kind of music than anybody else. I'd have to give them credit for it.
Listen to my story about a man named Jim. Poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed. Then one day he was shooting at some food. Up through the ground come a bubbling crude. Oh, that is black gold, Texas tea.
I like to think of it as being a forerunner in country music, because there ain't no way you can take country out of away from a fiddle and a 5-string banjo.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Ken folks said, Jed, move away from there. Said California is the place you ought to be. So they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. Swimming pool, movie star.
Well, I'd like to be remembered as one that tried to fight it to the end. One of the greats, you know what you'd like, whether I am or not, but that's what I'd like for it to be.
Now it's time to say goodbye to Jed and all his men. They would like to thank you folks for kind of dropping in. Won't invite you back again to this locality to have a heap and helping on the hospitality. Beverly Hillbillies, that's what they call them now. Nice folks. Y'all come back, yeah? Oh, bless your hearts. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're wonderful. We appreciate it so much.